Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. I'm Junchan, and today we're playing with streaming tools. And let's see, what do we have? So there's this vague concept of enhancing the stream with emotional or narrative overlays. And then this other concept that we're playing with, which is how to go from a 4 hour long unedited Twitch stream to a tight, focused, hopefully higher production value video. And the link between those two is that I think that this kind of narrative markers, they can be seen as stream markers that can then be used to do this edit. And so there's a few underlying things that come with that. One is that I want to explore the idea of basically the sort of a multi-track streaming, right? Where it's not just the rendered video that gets sent out, but it's also other layers. And so a bit like, having several language tracks, except here we'd have a data track. And the data track could then be, so let me put this over a data track rendered by a Twitch overlay. That would be I think the fairly short path towards this. And the fact that it's a data track means that, we can also render it as just a bunch of timed markers and then use that. And I think that's a simple case of something more general that I'm interested in. So hopefully that's a good, it's not very minimal, but it's still as minimal as I can think of a way to do those more advanced sort of enriched stream experience that are enriched by data. And this connects a bit to the Chronofold data structure work that we're doing with PureScript. And in fact, we'll probably use PureScript for the Twitch overlay. So that's a bit that I haven't explored yet. There's a few things that we could do now before we get into it, but I think one of the things that I'd like to do is to start prototyping a Twitch overlay in PureScript. So I'll create a to-do section because this has been mostly stream of consciousness thoughts, and we haven't yet sort of focused the work because it's been more like design and architecture thinking. So I think I want a PureScript Twitch overlay prototype, and then connected to that, the input channel the input channel for this. I think I want the Stream Deck, but it doesn't necessarily matter. What we want is that this emits data events over some channel that they just get picked by the Twitch overlay. And so it could be that this is something where we use whatever, what currently is our distributed network tech, which is Hyperswarm, which we're playing with in the PureScript Chronofold prototype. We can replace this by maybe some other data channel. This piggybacks on WebRTC, so I think it kind of is appropriate here. But we can play with that. And then the second thing I'd like to do is a bit of cleanup with this very large connection of links. So first, I'll just dump them. And then I do want to take a quick look at them, just fast. So yeah, FFmpeg, I think, right, that's connected to whether we could do a Streamlabs plugin, but I think we can sidestep this for now. We've looked into OBS Studio. I think I think we can do something simpler that lives outside of Streamlabs for now, and then see whether we can integrate it in Streamlabs or some other place. And so most of this was actually Streamlabs focused. We looked at, you know, what the current state of the art would be, and that can lead to things where, you know, like overlays are actually mapped onto video geometry that is derived from the video stream, and so that requires machine learning and things that are more advanced. Right now I want to just, you know, I'm interested in going there, but I'd like to have a prototype that just sends like very basic, potentially even static emotes or yeah, emojis or little sequences without needing so much machinery. But then later we can start thinking about how to plug in that kind of machinery. I was looking at yeah, Electron, which underlies the Streamlabs. See whether we could drop at the lower level in there. Yeah, I think I'm not even sure whether I looked at this on stream, but then I was also thinking about, yeah, how about, you know, what if we go even lower level than Streamlabs in some sense, and hook into the Windows compositor. And so that's obviously much more ambitious. Then how do these things play out with Windows, possibly? Although more and more I'm thinking that I will probably switch. I will have at least a couple of streams that are where I use Ubuntu. And yeah, we looked also about maybe how GStreamer could help and play into this. That's more related to when we want to do some actually stream processing. So I'm going to write that down as sort of like a later work. Sort of one of the first thing is send separate video streams, and then maybe have this stream proxy box. And that's more of sort of systems work. But, you know, basically I'm realizing that even though I'm accumulating some, you know, some hours of video that I can then look into, in some sense compressing or summarizing, right? The problem is that it's not exactly in a raw format that's ideal. Obviously audio and video are separate, but my overlays are not, and the music is not. And so that means that we're losing an opportunity to have cleaner raw material to work with. So, you know, I'm going to write this down. We want sort of raw screen cap and raw audio without music. And then, you know, we can have the overlays accessible somewhere, but so yeah, one of the simple ways to do that would be to just locally record those and output them. But I like the idea to send these separate as much as possible to a box that would composite them, and then be able to do things like you know, multi-resolution when it's not really, you know, available to us as non-affiliates on Twitch, as well as you know, multi-targets, like the paid function for Streamlabs and whatnot to do YouTube and well, Facebook I don't care for that much, but why not? And so once we have a process for this, then I think there's also the possibly the kind of more video processing and machine learning aspects to do things like face tracking and for positioning of the emojis. And that's yeah, there's more interesting thing that we can do if we bootstrap systems to do this thing, like natural language processing. That's one of the main ones, because that will help to do this summarization. And then yes, the other one would be sort of action detection or classification. Okay, did that take us more or less toward the end? I think so. Yeah, one of the things we were looking at is which format would be useful for a recording. So because, well, with Streamlabs OBS, I think I'm a little bit stuck in some of its recording capabilities. We did change a few things. I could potentially hit record here, but everything would be, I mean, there would be separate audio tracks. So that's pretty nice, but not separate overlays, right? And we can specify a different source for recordings here. And that's a bit sad, but I think it is the way it is, right? Recording, blah. Yeah. And yeah, I think we tried with recording of MKV, so possibly I could just record. And that's something else to look at, I suppose, in terms of when this should happen. I think maybe around here. It's like GStreamer and MKV real-time streaming. So that's, and you know, possibly at this point we kind of need to switch to actual OBS Studio and not Streamlabs, just to be able to control a little bit more what gets outputted from here and have these separate streams. So that's moving a little bit into the future. So now I'm going to clean up this plate. And we're going to look at Twitch overlays. This is another component, like the client component of these data enhanced streams. And yeah, so Twitch overlay development, yeah. Extensions. Twitch extension sits in a especially sandbox iframe inside Twitch and communicates with its parent via post message. We handle all the nitty-gritty of forming these messages and provide a JavaScript API to the extension called the extension helper. This is a high-level API, using the extension to request things like user identity and chat. Whoopsie, that diagram didn't render. What was it? Hearthstone descriptor, yeah. So one of three view. Panel extension displays a box under the video. Overlay extension displays on top of the whole video as a transparent overlay. And component extension displays as part of the video, taking up part of the screen. And component extension can be hidden by viewers. Okay, I'm not sure I understand the difference quite. Seems to be using React. Oh, right, extension types. Panel extensions is with the rest user profile content at the bottom of a Twitch channel. So is that one of those? Panel, yeah, that makes sense. A overlay extension display on top of the whole video as a transparent overlay, so that must be that thing. Or the close thing. Component extension. Aha. displays as part of the video, taking up part of the screen, and they can be hidden by viewers. Or can't overlay extensions also be hidden by the viewer? I would imagine they could, but okay, so we want an overlay extension. So let's go and check out what's up with the beginning of this thing. Let's first see PureScript Twitch extension. Even let's be ambitious. So the answer is no. Okay. Twitch overlay. So isn't there like some GitHub repo we can start with, like normal people? Local test, Chrome flags. Okay, that looks like a repo. Build an extension with Create React app. It's common to use modern frontend library like React. Okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind, since we've been doing quite a lot of exotic experimental things, to go back to a more easy path, and specifically PureScript React Basic Hooks, which I enjoy as a library approach, and I think things are a little bit in flight with the docs these days. Yeah. There's a starting point here. Okay, is that recent? Fairly. This is basic hooks. Okay, not worthy, but this isn't using all of these, is it? Oh, there's a halogen inspired interface for React. I didn't know that. Use it as a hook in existing components. How does this work? Val. I don't know that I want to do that, but is this doing this? Is this using that Halo thing? It is. Okay. Well, let's not use that. Example have been removed. Cookbook. Okay. Well, let's just start from an empty project. So we shall let me do something off screen for a sec. Go in, yeah, shared workspace, and yeah, experiments fine, I suppose. Okay. Trying to find a good place for the project to live. I'm just seeing some strange things. And body is here. That's all good. Oh, right. Okay, I think I got it. I did put this in space. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I think that would fit in here. And experiments. Yeah. And how are we going to call this? Just script Twitch overlay. Okay. And yeah. And I want a terminal. And Spago init. And Spago install, and got a bunch of stuff to install. I think, well, basic hooks and basic DOM. Oh, React basic hooks and React basic DOM. And we'll need to install React as well. And we need to install basic as well. I need to npm init. And install React and React DOM. And then we'll just have React Basic. That was fast. And React Basic's already installed. Okay, and so then we don't really have examples per se, but I think maybe we do in React Basic hooks. We don't. So the examples are the V14 examples, but I don't think they had the hooks in there, right? They didn't. So where did this disappeared into some? They used to exist. There's not even tests in these days. Yeah, branches. Months ago. Maybe they still existed then. They did. And we want something like something simple. Reducer might be a good one. Probably is, yes. So let's do that. Reducer.pers, and then our main. And we need a few more things. We need to Spago build. And then we need to check out the Makefile uses sort of old setup, so we're going to need to do a similar setup then with our prototype from the other stream. So let's bring that up. We're going to want at least parcel. And we're going to want to import that, and then we're going to want some of the index HTML and JS, and copy that and paste that here. And then we're going to want to take a look at what imports we're going to need, additional imports from, I mean, yeah, I don't want to use the internet for that, so we'll download this locally. Although I am using well, I guess let's do it the way this goes into the body. That's a strange thing. Extension helper. Okay. And yeah, certs. We don't need to make certs. Or it does need to connect via HTTPS locally. I see. Parcel HTTPS. Okay. And we could set a custom certificate that just generates a self-signed certificate. I don't know if that's going to be enough, or if we're going to need to add it into our certificate store. We shall see. And fails to build. Maybe because things have changed. That's okay. We are going to install Parcel bundler. And right, then we need to fix things. Maybe we start the ID server. Yeah. Okay, so let's check the new API for hooks. Use reducer. Takes a state and a reducer of state action, not a function, which is why it wants a reducer here. So I suppose we just do reducer and import that. Or MK reducer then, yeah. And what does MK reducer take? function from state and action. Okay, state and action to state, yeah, and that's it. Right, so case action off. What's the deal? Effect. Right, so do. Reducer blah. Let's look at an example there. Or, well, it's not really an example, but takes a function from, I see, yeah, it's not, can't really pass that. Oh, it's supposed to return an effect, but we want a reducer. I see. So we have to do reducer is this, and then call reducer here. Do we need parentheses here? Is that your problem? Doesn't seem like it. State in action and return state. Use a counter. Instead you have oh boy, I see. Not the right make MK reducer. MK counter, please. Yeah, not bit of a tricky one there. Effect with reducer. Yeah, so I suppose we can do this now. No, it's not in the right monad. Okay. Pure. Ah, yes. And then dispatch has also changed type. It's a bit sad what happened to this bunch of libraries. I mean, I'm happy for refactors, but everything should work as is, but it doesn't. Okay, what's the type of dispatch now? Do we even have dispatch these days? Are we supposed to? That's coming from use reducer, so maybe that's what I should check. Okay, use reducer. Dispatch is action to effect unit. So const or pure const takes an action and returns an effect unit. And that is an action. So what's the deal? Because of the handler. Well, I suppose I didn't look into the example, but the example project, because it uses other libraries, but maybe these patterns are in use there. They are not. How about the dispatch one or the handler? That is. So we seem to have send here. And I think send is from React Basic Classic, I think. We do have actions. Some authentication. Right. So there is a rendering going on in there. And the action handling is refactored as eval somehow. Oh, and that's going to do this halo thing. Script React basic hooks example. 8 use effect, reducer, an MK reducer, and one reducer. Dispatch, supposed to take an action and return an effect unit. If it's not the problem, if the problem is not the type of handler, is the problem the type of on click? Forum. Okay. Cookbook. Hooks. Book. React hooks. Okay, maybe I can search for use reducer in here. Yes. Okay, we get a dispatch function and that looks pretty much like what we have here. Component, reducer, and the dispatch is used here. The reducer function is a make reducer of state case. Right, I suppose we can do partially applied things to make it a little bit cleaner. But I suppose we can do this as well. Then we have these actions and we return state. Okay, what do you want here? Really help, okay. Something strange is going on with the ID. Oh, okay, it's just long. Yeah, I forget to do MK counter here. And while we're at it, okay. So let's see. We have a button here, and that's pretty much exactly that same syntax. Could I match tap action? Are you saying you want dispatch? Okay, let's rename the whole thing. For some reason I'm now suspicious of the module name as well because of potential collisions. Handler returns on the event handler. R button is from React Basic DOM. So let's check that out. A record of attributes. Yeah, even that is broken. Okay, what was updated 6 days ago? Component input React hooks. Maybe we won't use the reducer pattern until we figure out how basic things work again. Let's just check that basic things work. Okay, and so PowerShell, VM run PowerShell. Okay, so this does work. Let's see if there's some cookbook example with React's hook, multi-type. Buttons, clock, forms, hello, positions. What's that? Shapes. That's the SVG shapes. Yeah, we kind of want that actually. SVG. We might replace it by something else, but we might replace it by canvas later. Let's see, makeshift components. Let's just put just add some this RVG somewhere inside this code, maybe here, and import. Yeah, so that should probably be a different R. Probably an SVG, and then we'll import this as SVG. See if this works. That would be svg.text. Would it? Huh. Text is from DOM. Yeah, it's just that, yeah, so it's r.text actually, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever that is. So there's some much better looking canvas based. So actually, can we do React and Canvas? Probably not, right? Doesn't really make sense. Oh yeah, but yeah, PostScript drawing has an SVG backend, no? And like for PostScript. No, we don't want that. There were some more interesting PostScript drawing libraries. Not even sure SVG is what we want. I mean, to be honest, I'm also tempted by going the React 3 fiber direction, because that is a really nice 3D rendering application, but that would be quite a lot of work. So there is Flare, but it's a little bit in its own corner. Of the PureScript ecosystem. And of course now I'm thinking, why do I even use React? Just because Twitch said so, but yeah, I think one of the main reasons would be to use React 3 Fiber. And that's a whole I mean, that would give us like some amazing quality work to start from. And we leverage the GPU through JS on the browser. That'd be fancy, right? It'd be really fancy. But clearly it would probably take a while to plug this in. But maybe that's enough to convince me that doing React is okay. It's just that, what about React and animations? Okay. HOCs differ by animation frame. Yes. For the moving box. The thing is that animations with React and JavaScript, or even PureScript in general, can't be done naively, because basically maybe I want to use something like behaviors, but there's no such thing as behaviors for React, right? I mean PureScript. Oh, there's an example for 3. That's pretty cool. And what does the main look like? Actually, let's see if we can just run this. Oh, I'm curious now. use this parcel. I'm going to npm init, need to npm init as well, npm install, I mean. This is a pretty old version of PureScript. This is really clean code. I like this a lot. I'm trying to understand the staging. To be some wrapper around the 3 scene. And it also takes the particle engine for some reason. And maybe it's just for the state. Might be for state, and then it's effect of stage. Yeah, stage is the effect, the state, and behavior of stage then is the animation, and it uses the behavior fix point and update thing, including resizing if it occurs. Update the stage, takes it into seconds. Dimension in the stage and brings in a new stage. And does this by updating each particle, but starting, doing some optimization there. And then the rendering that will occur in the animate loop, which I think that's also coming from PureScript behavior, right? That's, I think, the top level thing for PureScript behavior. And rigging screen engine stage. Screen engine stage will be a behavior stage, and that's passed to something from stage to effect unit that does the render. Right, scene to effect unit. That's the rendering function. What else is there apart from the particles in this scene? I think that's it. I mean, there's a buffer geometry, but what is this used for? There's some additional points, which, but there's no way this is efficient, right? Or performant. I mean, it is smart in the way that it would get sampled at each request animation frame by Animate. So that is a good, that is definitely a good thing. But there's no sort of delegating to the low-level framework more efficient animations, which is something like the makers of React Fiber with this other, with React Spring, I think is the thing, right? React Spring. Yeah, I suppose that if we went the PureScript React route, then that's where we would try to integrate. I don't think that there's easings. Yeah, I think that's one of the traditional methods. And maybe even the method that that is used under the hood here. Transition groups, right? Transition group. In transition, not smooth. Something has broken, I think, over there. Let's try and escape. Ordered by preference. So the React Transition group is actually the preferred, and Anime.js, lightweight and open source. Imperative API, more intuitive than typical React approach for coordinated complex animation. And Spring is third. this transition and transition group. And so we have, well, 4 years ago. And a set of easing functions in PureScript, but yeah, I think usually you don't want to calculate these things manually at each frame. Okay, let's try to continue the install. So I mean, this is going to be a question of preference with regards to programming style for sure. Concise here, 70 lines of code to implement. Unable to get the cut to have different animations depending on whether they're arriving or individually added. Okay. That's the real spring one. It is very concise. Let's see, is there a test here? There isn't. Is there some actual code? Let's see, React, PureScript, React Basic, transition groups, because this is something that should be accessible, shouldn't it? Isn't that a basic API for React? Transition. Maybe in the DOM. No transition group here. That would probably bring up, oh, freedom transition. Okay, it's another thing. There's React transition group 2. It's a little bit more recent. Has 3 APIs. And what is freedom transition? PureScript freedom. Practical type safe UI library. So that's another. Yeah, oh, there's a new one as well. Okay. Grain. Easy flexible state management inspired by recoil and React hooks. Okay. Some SVG examples. API like React hooks, flexible state like recoil. Entirely PureScript. performance. Okay. And what about the transition groups? There's virtual list. That's quite important in a UI library, but no transition groups though. So pretty low level it looks like. Keeping on fuses with vnodes, as we can have vnodes, text element and component. And you can create role elements. Yes, CSS and keyframes. CSS keyframes for animations. You know what? That might be enough for us. In fact, except I don't know if it's a question whether how much we can do with that. I'm not sure. Seems to be maybe a little bit. Seems to be some stuff leaking. Maybe it's needed for performance, but it's impressive that it's entirely pure script, I gotta say. State is end. Mapping new state. Initial state is 999. Don't know what this local grain supposed to be. If you want to use local state, that's an interesting approach. Quite like that. and then this keyed cloak grain as well. Interesting. All right, I'll take a little break and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, and we're back. So let's go for another 20 or 30 minutes. This does display, right? What we've done here. It's not this one, or is it? Hello, localhost. Not this one. No, maybe we've closed it. There we go. Yeah, so let's get rid of stuff we don't want. Like we don't care about this, right? There we go, something like that. Yeah. And yeah, we probably won't want anything like this for now. So let's just how about just a circle and some text. Like something like that. And then let's go back to how we can Twitch enable that. So we've got our import. 1 second, my glasses are dirty. Okay, yes. Set up HTTPS. We don't care about Google Analytics. Okay, so let's revert back to the beginning here. We've got the extension. Configure an extension required for your step. Visit blah and create extension. Okay. Name your extension. Streamoji. Pick a type for extension. Okay, so I think I might need to do this off screen. I don't think the client ID is critical, but there should be a secret at some point. Video. So the types that are in the list are not the same. There's no such thing as overlay. There's video full screen and video component. So I suppose it's full screen then. Probably is full screen. Okay. Version number, optional, summary. No input much. I suppose we can change this later, right? Yes, I think so. Current status local test. Base URI HTTPS, yes. Panel viewer path. There is no such thing for us, I think. If you go to your Twitch channel now, you'll see your extension. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Use the asset hosting tab to provide location to your file. Using the rig, follow the instruction on what to place here. Or download developer rig, I see. Host your extension as a desktop. Maybe you to test extension before it's live on Twitch. Yeah, that sounds like that's something we want. Except there's a problem with the link. Configuration path. Oh, I see. Video full screen. So maybe we will get the sample code. There's an extension hello world, okay. So I'm going to put that on screen, that's going to be useful. But then this developer rig gets us to this this bit.ly warning, but I suppose we will bypass it. It's a exe file. Downloading executables from the internet, the Windows culture. Use the asset hosting tab to provide the location to your file. If using the rig, follow the instruction of what to place here. Okay, so let's try with the rig. Use your Twitch credentials to get started. Okay. This is elsewhere. Two-factor. Okay, so we are logged in. I think create project now. Streamoji, that's right. Next. Template. Extension using React or tutorial example. Now let's hope we can modify it later. But we will check out the React thing. Okay. Let's put this here. Already very underwhelming. What the hell? Boy, that's started. Okay, let's say I use my own code. Successfully created. I see. So we probably don't want that. Can we change the... Okay, let's try and select the folder where we are here. Yeah, it's not here. Boy, my links are all over the place. Twitch overlay, that's the one. And I'll use my own code. Next. Okay, how to run your extension developer rig. Run your extension, you need to host your front-end assets, and if you have a backend, run your backend. If you'd like the rig to host your front-end for you, enter the path to your front-end asset in the first text box. Otherwise, it should be a base URI is correct in the Twitch developer console for your extension. Suppose I can hit this folder. Command to run your front-end hosting. So you mean like npm run parcel, for instance? Okay, I really don't see the point to all this, but I see. Invoke Twitch rig, log in your front-end JavaScript to a message appear in this console. Create new view, overlay. Label. Hero type broadcaster. I suppose for now doesn't really matter. Display channel. Let's make it big. Save. see some zone things. Player control visible. Right, they're here, I suppose. Configuration service. Not currently using the configuration service. See. So did it create some kind of... Ah yeah, it did. Create purely... No, that's us. So what? So we need a video overlay file, is that what? Yeah, I think that's when we don't use the rig. No, that's us. So what? We need a video overlay file. And doesn't work anymore. I see. And volume, we can actually delete the volume here. Because otherwise we meet twice. But yeah, I have no idea where it's getting this from. I mean, this is just bad. I mean, the documentation is bad, the interface is wonky. But yeah, I have no idea where it's getting this from. I mean, this is... And it seems like changing the volume hasn't worked. I mean, the documentation is bad. Oh, I think that worked. No. So no idea how this relates to the front end. Yeah, I think I need to start from a bundled template extension tutorial example, like just getting started, I suppose. Put this somewhere else. No idea how this relates to the front end. Yeah, I think I need to start from a bundled template extension tutorial example. Select this and hope this time it doesn't crash. Yeah, I think it crashes. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. So extension getting started public, and then I suppose we need to run the front end. And open in VS Code. So we have this JSON file for the project with some of the stuff that needs to be started for backend and front end, and then different video overlay URLs that should be hosted locally. And then this has something to generate a certificate for the backend and start the backend. And then this video overlay that's available in this public folder, and that's probably what gets ran via the backend with these configuration here. So if I go to extension now, I can create a view. Would you care to cycle a color? Yes, I would. Would I get to cycle a color? I see, except that this no zone, there's something in the no zone, so well done for showing good examples. And then that's supposed to update the block color. It did, okay. Okay, so I think the only thing we want is this video underscore overlay file to be served by the backend, or if there's only a front end, by the front end. Okay, so let's try again with experiments, and I will add this to my pin to quick access. Okay, that'll be good. And then Twitch overlay. So we have a Streamergy here. So let's open that. Okay. And right, so in theory we can run parcel, but if we do that, then we'll only have the index.html. So I suppose we need something like a public folder as well. And move these things in there. And change this to this, I believe. Yeah. In fact, the question is, will we be able to serve everything, several files? Was it overlay or overlays? Overlay. This thing. Refresh. And there's an error. It did spin up this console. Parcel public. No entries found. Yeah. So I might need to reconfigure as well, maybe I need to do parcel public video overlay HTML. Let's see if that works. Developer with the port you specified in testing base URI. Yeah, so let me deactivate, I think we have, yeah, we have ASA running in this other project. This we'll keep around for now, but this we don't need to keep around. And then we'll stop here. And then you're saying that I should have a port here. And it makes sense, there is a port here, and it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we don't have config, so let's run it and see. Okay, and that's right, we need to have additional a path here and rerun. And cannot resolve dependency. Okay, let's try and run it from here. I'm really not sure what this does for us. Well, this seems to work fine. So what about in the rig then? Okay, yeah, it looks like it runs this time. It's going to overlay. Not that I can see. So let's see, because does this serve? It does, but does this serve? It does. So let's check if we need to do something special from the example. Not this. This viewer.js thing. This is running. We toggle developer tools here. Extension helper library not loaded. So is it because of the HTTPS issue? Reload everything. It simply failed. I think it's because of the HTTPS error. If you compare it to here. Yeah, this also doesn't work, in fact. Yeah, well, I haven't started the front end here, but I don't want to do that. This in theory is not running also, which is strange. So let's have it run. Okay. Invalid certificate. Yes. Allow. Store in project file. Okay. All right. Rendering component directly into document bodies discouraged. Children are often manipulated by third-party scripts. Yeah, that's fine. Why is this not broadcasting underneath? Oh, probably because I have a opaque background. So let's change this, and then I think there is a background opacity, no? Let's see how it's done in the other, the example. I suppose there is no style in there. Body style. There's this viewer thing. But no CSS per se. So maybe if I just comment that out. And reload. I'm not in the right place. This is where I want to be. Okay. Hey, there we go. Okay, so we have some beginning of some kind of Twitch overlay thingy, and that's where I'll sign off. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you later.